What's up, guys? Nick here, back with another episode of Rick and Morty Isn't Just a Cartoon. In my last episode, I explored the ABCs of Beth, and the question of who we become because of our family and our parents. Now, I want to talk about one of Rick and Morty's most wild and emotionally revealing episodes, Pickle Rick. Now, on the surface, it's a ridiculous sci-fi sequence. It really is looking at it from the outside in. But underneath, there is a deeply uncomfortable story about denial, pride, and refusing to face your feelings. And so, a bit of a refresher for those who may need it or just haven't seen the episode. Um, Rick literally turns himself into a pickle to skip a family therapy session with Beth, Morty, and Summer. Now, as a pickle, he gets knocked into the sewer by a cat, where he builds this brutal exosuit made from cockroach and rat parts. Fights off rats. Don't know where that came from. He fights off rats and eventually infiltrates a high security building. Meanwhile, his family sits in therapy, and Dr. Wong, she gently tries to unpack why Rick would do something so absurd. By the end, Rick does return, wounds and all, clutching a syringe, the very serum that would be able to turn him from his current pickle state back to his normal Rick human state, revealing his deep-seated unwillingness to connect with his family emotionally and actually going to therapy. And I think the moment in this episode it comes during that therapy where Dr. Wong pretty much tells Rick that his intelligence doesn't protect him from his emotional problems. Rick's defenses crack, but he doesn't fully accept or admit his vulnerability, choosing instead to hide behind, another experiment or excuse. And I think the bigger connection with that is a of universal truth. People often, avoid their emotions through distractions, humor, or doing something ridiculous. Rick's transformation into a pickle is his ultimate escape, a literal and metaphorical way to run away from therapy and being in that space with his family. But the cost is real. By turning away from his pain, he alienates the people that he claims that he cares about. This episode it reminds us that intelligence without emotional growth is really empty. And I think that's what really kind of what I honed in on watching the episode and what really stuck with me is that I remember times that I avoided hard conversations by staying busy or making a joke instead of saying what I actually felt or what I was feeling in the moment. I've seen people use work, humor, or random distractions to dodge vulnerability. Rick's pickle journey, all the violence, all that wildness, felt like an extreme but very relatable metaphor for what it means to run from yourself. And so, Pickle Rick, it's more than an absurd action episode. It's a painful look at how someone smart, powerful, and brilliant can be totally disconnected from their own heart. What we call freedom can sometimes be the prison that we build to protect ourselves. And so, yeah, over the past 8 episodes, really, we have explored trauma, identity, ego, avoidance, and the emotional weight behind the show's wild storytelling. For this final chapter, I'm leaving you with the biggest takeaway from Pickle Rick. Sometimes the hardest battles aren't the ones we fight on the outside, but the ones that we fight within ourselves. Thank you for sticking with me through this epic journey, this wild journey, and I hope that these episodes really helped you see Rick and Morty in a deeper, more human way. And so yeah, thank y'all for watching. Thank y'all for being a part of this journey, and stay blessed. I hope y'all have a good one. Peace.